Hello student. I Dr. Radhi Patil, Head Department of Zoology, Vasantranik Arts, Science and Commerce College, Shada, District Nandurbar. Dear friends, on the online lectures we are conducted by our college as in a specific pandemic situation for all over the world. At this time, university as well as government as well as college managements and or college body are decided to get by the in this situation to get by the online lectures. In this point of view, dear friends, I already discussed class S.Y.BSc Zoology paper second Ju 302. The course name is Biochemistry. In this course, we have included the different topics which are concerned for the syllabus as 4 units. Unit first is the carbohydrate metabolism, unit second is the lipid metabolism, unit third is the protein metabolism, and unit fourth is the enzymes. Out of these 4 chapters, dear friends, in your college levels as well as online teaching will be start from the 1st August. So I completed the unit number first, that is carbohydrate metabolism. Today we discuss about the of this course of biochemistry. Unit number 2 is the lipid metabolism. In this units 2 we discuss the specifically this topic also to decided our BOS Committee of Zoology, Kavitri Bainabai Chaudhary, North Maharashtra University, Jalgaon, and trainer training program, TTT program, online learning, live classroom teaching platforms. We also, in your contribution to give me, the university has opportunity to discuss the lectures as well as online PPT presentation on unit number 2, lipid metabolism. Dear friends, in this units number 2, that is lipid metabolism, further discuss about the brief idea to introduction to the biochemistry. Means, dear friends, we know about what is meant biochemistry. Biochemistry is sometimes called a biological chemistry. Is the study of chemical processes within and relating to living organism. Biochemical processes gives rise to the complexity of life. Means, in simple way, the term biochemistry itself is derived from a combination of 2 words, that is biology plus chemistry. In this way, biochemistry is a chemical processes within and related to living organism. Means different kinds of the chemical process or biochemical processes which are included or carry on in living organism body are takes place in this course. It is a laboratory based science that brings together biology and chemistry. By using chemical knowledge and techniques, biochemists can understand and solve biological problems. Friends, biochemistry is sometimes called a biological chemistry. Is the study of chemical processes within and relating to living organism. This is also discussed the specific way. The biochemistry also mainly to included the 4 biomolecules. We also main relation of the biochemistry are to related the 4 main classes of the molecules. It is also called the biomolecules. In biomolecules, there are included the carbohydrates, lipids, proteins, and nucleic acid. This is the 4 biomolecules. Many biological molecules are polymers. In this terminology, monomers are relatively small macromolecules that are linked together to create large macromolecules known as polymers. Means the biomolecules also 2 forms. In single form is the monomers, and grouping or more than one monomers are combined. This is known as polymers. These all kinds of the biomolecules are important role. Out of these 4 biomolecules, today in your unit number 2 is the lipid metabolism or lipid biomolecules are most important role. Why the lipids are important role as well as to give which metabolic processes which are takes place in living animal body are studied in unit number 2. Dear friends, to all students who know about what is mean lipids. Lipids are organic compounds that are fatty acids or derivatives of fatty acids which are insoluble in water but soluble in organic solvent. Lipids are molecules that contain hydrocarbons and make up the building blocks of the structure and function of living cells. In this way, in simple meanings of the lipids are organic compounds that contain hydrogen, carbon and oxygen atoms which forms the framework for the structure and function of living cells. It is about the 2 to 3 definitions. Lipids is generally also known as non-polar organic compounds. It is mainly insoluble to water but soluble in non-polar solvent like chloroform, acetone, ether and benzene. This type of the non-polar solvents which are dissolved. It contains a carbonyl group, that is COOH. In the briefly, first, dear friends, all students, we know about what is mean classification of lipids. Lipids are mainly classified into the following class or groups. That is, first is the simple lipids, second is the complex lipids, it is called compound lipids, and derived lipids. Also, fourth is also miscellaneous to get by the as a four topic, mainly as a three groups, that is simple lipids, complex or compound lipids and derived lipids. In a classification or schematic representation, this is a lipids are classified in the schematic representation, the simple lipid, compound lipid and derived lipids. In simple lipids also as esters of fatty acids which are divided by the two, that is fats and waxes. In compound lipids, we also in classification point of view, the simple lipids we also include fatty acids plus alcohol. Is a example is a triacylglycerol plus neutral fat. It is called a fatty acid plus glycerol. We also two components are included in this way. That is a triglycerols mean fats and waxes. In waxes, a fatty acid plus acetyl alcohol are included. In next, that is compound lipids. It also formed by the fatty acid plus alcohol plus groups, that is esters of fatty acids, and we also alcohol contain two of these groups in this compound lipids. And in derived lipids also both group, that is which are included in simple and complex, that is we formed by the compound of hydrocarbons, rings and long chain of the hydrocarbons are included in the derived lipids. In the complex or compound lipids also included by the four groups, that is phospholipids, second is the glycolipids, third is the lipoprotein and fourth is the other sulfolipids. We also detailed studied in a point of view. This is a simple lipid. Simple lipid also called as a esters of fatty acids with various alcohols. It included by the fats. Second is the waxes. Fats is the ester of fatty acids with glycerol. Oils are fats in the liquid state. Waxes is the ester of fatty acids with higher molecular weight of monohydric alcohols, which are included by the simple lipids. Second is the complex or compound lipids, is also esters of fatty acids containing groups in addition to alcohol and fatty acid. Complex lipids are included. The first is the phospholipids. Phospholipids are combined to form by fatty acids plus alcohol plus nitrogen bases. In this plus phosphates, we have the we used by the lipids containing in addition to fatty acid, alcohol and phosphoric acid residue. The frequently have nitrogen containing bases and other substituents. Example in glycerophospholipids, the alcohol is glycerol, and sphingospholipids is the alcohol of pingosine. It is a two uh, examples of these phospholipids. Next is the glycolipids. It is called as glycosphingolipids. Lipids containing fatty acid, sphingosine, and carbohydrates. That is, we also example is the cerebrosides and gangliosides in this glycolipids. Next, third is the lipoproteins. Its name lipoprotein is made up of LPL, that is lipid protein lipid. It includes specifically chylomicrons, that is LDL, low density lipids. It is HDL, high density lipids, IDL, and VLDL. So this kinds of the lipoproteinase is the most important nature of the lipids in the cell wall plasma membrane formation. Next, other is the complex lipids. Lipids such as sulfolipids and aminolipids. Lipoproteins may also be placed in this category, that is monoacyl glycerol or diacyl glycerol, which also included in this form as a category, that is sulfolipids and aminolipids. There are two, sulfolipids and aminolipids are included in the complex other sulfo groups of the lipids. Next, third is the derived lipids. Derived lipids, these includes fatty acids, glycerol, steroids, other alcohol fatty aldehydes, and ketone bodies. Means in derived lipids, both lipids which are included in simple and complex lipids, both group of the lipids are included in the derived lipids. Lipids in this lipids, soluble vitamins and hormones. Some of the different types of the lipids are described below in detail. It also included by the fatty acids. Fatty acids are carboxylic acids or organic acid, often with long aliphatic tails. It is called long chains, either saturated or unsaturated. These fatty acids, which are divided by the two types, that is saturated fatty acids and unsaturated fatty acids. Saturated fatty acids, when a fatty acid is saturated, it is an indication that there are no carbon-carbon double bonds. The saturated fatty acids have higher melting points than unsaturated acids of the corresponding size due to their ability to pack their molecules together, thus leading to straight rod-like shape. So this is a characteristic feature of the fatty acids. Next, second is the unsaturated fatty acid. Here, unsaturated fatty acids has more than one double bond. Then this is an indication that it is an unsaturated fatty acid. Most naturally occurring fatty acids contain an even number of carbon atoms and are unbranched. Unsaturated fatty acids, on the other hand, have a cis double bond that create a link in their structure which doesn't allow them to group their molecules in straight rod-like shape. So this is a unsaturated group, has a specific characteristic features. Next is the most important topics in related to the briefly to functions of the lipid, because in your unit number 2 lipid metabolism, it is a brief idea what is concerning related by the lipid metabolism, about the classification modes to briefly studied, because the briefing or basic meanings as well as information of the lipids we known the every student had to get your discussion about the lipid metabolism. In your function point of view, lipid is the first function, energy production and storage. Each and every living organisms are required to do work for the energy, and these kinds of the energy and in a specific stagnant condition we also storage and utilize to the mechanical work. Second is the insulation and protection. The characteristic features of the lipid has a non-polar groups. It is also as a hydrophobic in nature, means we have repellent of water. So these characteristic features is most important for the thermoregulation as well as insulator to protecting from the thermoregulation as well as to protect the any concerning the insulation. Next is the Third function is a digestion and absorption. This is the most important process which are creating in the living animal body. Digestion is the specific physiological processes in which complex insoluble foods are converted into the simple and soluble form. So at this time, the different kinds of the digestive enzymes are most important role to engulfing the foods are digested and to get the energy for the living organism. And the digested food or absorption in your intestine, different parts of the alimentary canal is most important, because this process for the absorption of the food and nutritive products are get absorbed from the body and to get the energy for the another works. Cell wall structure means lipoprotein, phospholipids and sphingomyelin as a specific lipids are most important role in the cell wall as well as plasma membrane. Cell wall is present in the plant cell. It is important role to protection, and lipoproteinous nature of the plasma membrane has also role for the selective absorption. It is called the semi-permeable membrane. Next function of the lipid is the hormone production. It is most important function each and every living organism in your development is properly is completion for the hormonal regulation or as well as hormone formation. And these hormones important roles in this process is the lipid. Next is the fatty acid derivative such as vitamin A, D, E and K. This type of the vitamins are produced by the fatty acid derivatives. It is the most important role in living organism, that is the A vitamin, D vitamin, E vitamin and K vitamin. Next is the lipids is as a important role membrane structure of components for it is called a plasma membrane. In every living organism cells outermost covering is called as the PM or plasma membrane. This membrane has important role as a lipoprotein in nature. This lipoprotein has a selective or semi-permeable characteristic feature for the any physiological processes. Next is the function is the lipid act as a important cellular metabolic regulator, that is a PG, prostaglandin and steroid hormone. We already discussed in the hormone, that is the two important hormones are the in case of the living and human animal body, that is prostaglandin and steroid hormone has most important role to as a physiological role as intracellular storage depot of metabolic fuel. In many more time in a fasting condition or rest, at this time the body has not required the energy in specific starvation condition. At this time intracellular storage fats are used as a metabolic fuel for the living organism. Next is the transport form of metabolic fuel. In your body, the any kinds of the energy are required for the specific condition. At this time the metabolic storage energy are used or transport from one part to the another part of the living animal body is important function. Next is the as a protective form of the cell of many bacteria, leaves of higher plants, exoskeleton of insect and the skin of vertebrates. In this parts of the bacteria as well as plants as well as insect or animals or vertebrates, this is a more as a protective form of the cell is the most important role by the lipids. Next is the lipids are components in their mitochondrial membrane and participate in ETC chain or ETC system. It is called the electron transport system. Is most important metabolic processes which are creating in the carbohydrate metabolism. This ETC is nothing but also form of the energy center in the mitochondria is important role. So it is called the powerhouse, and in this condition F1 particle as well as the electron transport chain system has most important role by the lipids as a transport form of some neurotransmitter in your transmission of a messenger from your brain or nerve cord. Neurons is the neurotransmission is the most important function by the lipids as determinants of immunological specificity in your body. Different kinds of the immunological or immune systems are creating the specific work. At this time lipids are most important role. And last is the enzyme cofactor. It is most important. Every biochemical processes are takes place in a metabolic or anabolic catabolic processes. At this time enzyme cofactor is most important. In enzyme cofactor lipids has important role. Dear friends, in this way this is a briefly to discuss about the functions of the lipid. Next to mainly turn over the main topics of the introduction to the metabolism. Dear friends, we also discussion of the lipid metabolism. First, every student to know about what is mean metabolism. Metabolism is the sum of all of the chemical reaction that occur in the living organism. These chemical reactions are necessary to sustain life. Every in living animal body is most important role. In introduction point of view, metabolism is the chemical reaction in the body's cell that change food into energy. Our bodies need this energy to do work. Every living organism are required the work. So at this time, the metabolic activity is essential. In specific proteins in the body control the chemical reactions of the metabolism. Dear friends, every body, all kinds of systems are work. In this system, few time we also require the energy. This energy utilization is called as a catabolism process, and few more times the energy are producing. The producing of the energy is process is called as the anabolism. We detail both the process of the catabolism and anabolism detail in the next slides. That is just topics. Energy formation is one of the vital components of the metabolism. All the reactions in the body that involve energy transformation are collectively called as metabolism. Metabolism can be divided into two categories. We already discussed about the uppermost slide. That is the catabolism. In catabolism, the breakdown of molecules to obtain energy. Second is the anabolism. In anabolism, the synthesis of all components needed by the cell. Means in this anabolism process, the required energy are synthesized, and in catabolism process, the storaging or required the energy are utilized for any kinds of the work. This process will be called as a catabolism. So in introduction point of view, there is a schematic diagrams which also process of the metabolism. It is a large molecules, this is small molecules. The large molecules are converted into small molecules, means bifurcation or degradation. This process will be called as a catabolism, means the storaging energy are utilized to form by the specific work, thus creating the energy. So this is catabolism. Also as a small energy to creating the small molecules, and these smaller molecules are combined to form large molecules and storage. This process will be called as the anabolism. So this is the both arrow indicating the one process is the catabolism, is the second is the anabolism. Also same in next diagram, that is a catabolic processes which glycogen which are converted to glucose, and glucose get energy. So in anabolic processes, the energy are stored in glucose, glucose are converted to glycogen, and glycogen also has a storage form of the energy in living animal body. So in this way, dear friends, we already brief idea to discuss about the lipid metabolism, what is mean lipid, classification of lipid, and brief idea of the biochemistry. Dear friends, in next lecture we detail discuss the process of the lipid metabolism as carrying different kinds of the test steps to discuss in next lecture. We have thank you. Stay home, stay safe.